Okay, everybody. Good evening, everyone. I assume, I hope we are live for this English one on Bridges of Light International. It's 6 o'clock UK time. I'm laughing to myself because being living between London and Italy, I get confused so easily between 6 o'clock UK time or 6 or 7 o'clock Italian time. It's funny. Anyway, let's wait a few more moments for more people to join. In the meantime, as always, I'd like to thank you very much. That you are right here, right now, live with me, and everybody else. Whoever is going to watch this later, you that may be watching this in an hour, tomorrow, in a week, in 2 weeks, or whenever else. And of course, for Bridges of Light, to give me the opportunity to use their platform to spread my message. Hello, Luca. Great to see you here. Hey, Marina. Wow, fantastic. I'm glad you made it. Hello, Sonia. Welcome. By the way, I can talk the whole hours, or if I had an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, I could talk on my own, no problem. Although it's not the same if there is a kind of dialogue. So please, comment and ask questions. And I love challenging questions. If I don't know the answer, I tell you, I'll say, you know what, I don't know, and I'll give you my opinion, which, by the way, everything that I say, it's no more nor less than my opinion, based on my experience and on what I know. This evening, we are going to be talking about the importance of emotional and communicational congruence. In other words, we are going to inquire and investigate, and apparently by quite a lot of studies conducted, the importance we're going to look at of how to recognize first, so how to communicate to ourselves how we feel emotionally about anything, and how to express it to others, and why it is important. Sonia said, good afternoon from sunny and hot London. Yes, I was looking at the weather before, and yeah, it's 31 degrees in London. It's amazing. In Italy as well, it's very hot. And tomorrow, I believe it's going to be the same. So yeah, enjoy the weather. Why do you think it's important to acknowledge first how we feel emotionally, and then to express it and communicate it to others? Hello, Samra. Greeting of peace to you too. It is important for different reasons. Before we go on to expressing emotionally how we feel to others, let's consider how important it is to recognize it for ourselves. Emotions are basic, simplistically explained, energy in motions. In fact, we can feel it. We could be calm, we could be feeling peaceful, and then something happens, which could be maybe something that brings joy in us. Maybe we think about something we like, or we see somebody we like, or they tell us something. Hello, Lucia. They tell us something that makes us happy, so we go from being in a state of tranquility or serenity, or let's say peacefulness, to a state of excitement. And this is energy, we can feel it. It's very, very difficult, in fact, when we feel excited, to contain the excitement. At the same time, we could be feeling at ease, peaceful, and something may happen. Somebody may tell us something, or maybe we lose something, and so we get upset, we get angry. Again, we feel a burst of energy. Anger is a very, very strong emotion. And again, this energy, it overtakes us, and it wants us to do something. In fact, if somebody else is involved, unless we are very, very skillful at containing and suppressing, maybe even some people are good at denying that emotions, unless we are good at doing that, we most probably talk and behave aggressively toward the person, because this energy is taking over us and is controlling us. Hello, Mariella. Me too, I'm pleased to be here and seeing you here. So, let's see these two scenarios. Let's say we get angry, and the two polarities, the two opposite choices are either not say anything, keep it inside of us, suffer in silence, and of course it's legitimate, maybe in the name of politeness, because we want to be educated, or maybe because we know, we are aware that to express anger may ignite anger in the other part, and so they may get upset, and so an escalation process could start, and we don't want that. Okay, so this is one case. The other scenario is when, well, we let this anger out. We let them know that we are angry. Hello, May. Great to see you here. Hello, Master. And we know why I'll tell her, Master. I can't say it here because it'd be too long of a story. And so these are the polarity. We either keep the emotion inside or we express it. Before we go into how we can express it, because also when we choose to express it, which is actually what I invite you from now on to do, I'm not inviting you to keep any emotions ever inside of you, truly. And I'll tell you why. It's not because I think it's healthier to express emotions. No. Also, actually, because I actually know and live that when I am alive, I can be happy or I can be angry. And if I'm upset about something, rest assured that I would tell you. I wouldn't judge you. This is important. I wouldn't judge you. I wouldn't attack you. But you would see that you did something, and I would tell you whatever you did, I did not like. And you can see, you can feel it. I'm honoring my upset, and I let it out. But why is it healthy to let it out? And then we go into how we let it out. It's very important. From experiments that they did more than one, of course, but the very first experiment, it was done, if I'm not mistaken, in the late 18th centuries or early 19th centuries. This experiment is what paved the first one on a long series of experiments that they conducted that demonstrated that almost all, even physical illnesses, they have a psychosomatic root. And what is the experiments that they did that explain this? They put some rats on their own. This is important. Imagine there's different cages with one rat or one mouse. And they were given not too strong of an electric current, an electric shock to the rat, but every now and then, regularly, they were shocking it with electricity. What happened is that after a few days, the rat, because he was stressed and he was angry, but he wasn't expressing his anger, would die. What they did afterwards, it was putting two mice, and I understood actually last live, they told me it's no mices, it's mice, it's like sheep, you don't add an S. Anyway, so they put two mice in the cage, and they were doing the same thing. The same amount of electrical impulse was given to them. What happened was that each one of the mice, when they were given the electric shock, they were getting angry. They were getting aggressive towards the other mouse. Okay, they were biting each other. They were fighting. but they were both surviving. They weren't dying. I repeat it again. One rat, if it gets shocked with electricity, would die because it gets overloaded by this anger. And it's actually this anger, these emotions that kills the rat. Two rats, when they are shocked with the same amount of electricity at the same time lapse between the shocks, they both survive because they get angry, they get frustrated, and they fight with each other, but they let it out. This is important. So this is why at a personal level, whenever we feel a strong emotion, in English we say better out than in. Yes, better out than in, because we are energy systems and we go into short circuit in the long term if we don't allow energy to leave us, to be dispersed. Before I keep going, I want to read who's here. Hello, Desanga. Hello, Sylvia. Sonia says, that was my question. How we let it out? Perfect. Now we get to it. How we let it out? Okay. We acknowledge it. We say yes to the emotion. Meaning something happens or somebody behaves in a way that upset us. So we say mentally to ourselves, yes, I am feeling. This is just a little thing to keep in mind. I invite you to not to say I am angry or I am sad or I am outraged. Say to yourself, I am feeling. Now I am feeling angry. Now I am feeling upset. Now I am feeling sad. Okay? Now we know that we are feeling this anger, and then we recognize why we feel like that. And if somebody else is involved, we can tell them. But this is fundamental, because otherwise we start the cycle, the vicious cycle of conflict, and we don't want to do that. But we can tell them without judging them, and if we can, also without judging what they do, but we tell them the reason why we feel like we feel. In other words, if somebody, let's say at work, I am asking for something that I really need in my office right here, right now, and my colleague is saying, I can't deal with this, I'm busy. Okay, 10 minutes later, I go there again and I say, by the way, sorry, I really need this. And I can see maybe that I could do it, say, no, you know what, I told you I can't do it. Now, if I really get upset, when I see them again, or maybe at a break, I could say, do you know, I just want to let you know that I am feeling upset because I have asked you 3 times for something that was urgent and was really important, and you didn't do it. And from my perspective, I interpreted it because I didn't look that you were so busy. I assumed that even though you could have done it, you didn't do it. And that's why I was feeling angry because of what happened. And I just want to let you know. Okay, now we don't know, of course, how the other person, the colleague, is going to take that on board. But I can assure you, if you do this, explaining how you feel and then saying, it's important that when you explain this that you say I twice. I felt or I feel angry because I am or were interpreting what happened in this way. So you explain clearly how you feel, you acknowledge and honor and express your emotion, and you acknowledge and express because that's the reality, your interpretation of the fact. So it's important that you say when you did, and try and be as factual as possible. When you were at your computer and I ask you and literally say what you'd said, I interpret it as if you were not interested or whatever. But I can assure you that if you express your feelings and if you say clearly, I interpret it, the other person, if it's listening, cannot get really angry at you, because you are owning your own emotion. You know, because that's what's happening, that you have interpreted something, and that's why you feel like that. And you give them the opportunity to tell you what was exactly going on, right? And also what happens is that you take the responsibility from them of how you feel emotionally. And it's important for you, if you've never done this, to do it with somebody. If you have something to resolve with somebody, do it now when this live finishes. Pick up the phone and do this. Tell them, you know, I just want to repristinate, or I want to clarify something, or repristinate something that happened between us. When you did, or you said, or I did and I said, I felt like this because I interpreted what happened in this way. And then see what happens. Then the rest is ... You have to see. I can't, it's almost as if you will open a door and everything unfolds. But normally people they are not usually being spoken to in that way. Usually they are spoken by angry people in a judgmental, an angry way. But if you can say, I'm feeling really upset because you did this, and to me it meant, and I interpreted it in this way. Can you see? There's no blame, but there's clarity. And even if nothing else would happen, you have take a load off your chest. You had a big, heavy weight on you emotionally. This energy was there, and you let it out. And that is already very, very healing in itself. Mariella says, I absolutely agree. Psychosomatic problems make psychosomatic problems make me feel bad in health. So yes, put my life into positive connections. Yes, everything really, every problem is psychosomatic. Deep down. Do you know why? Because regardless to what the concrete reality of life is, I am the one to have the power to regard it as being a problem, a disaster, a tragedy, something neutral. Is it so? Is it a problem? Who knows? Or a blessing, or an opportunity for growth. You see, so yes, every problem is here, because it's not what happens to us important. It's our attitude towards it. It's our response, our reaction to it, and that we have control over. Of course, as always, easier said than done, but very possible, I can assure you. Hello, Matilde. Great to see you here. Thank you. Mariella says, these are all negative feelings, not positive for ourselves. Vicious circles, we must come out. Well, yes, if we want to live peacefully, if we want to live healthily, yes, it's advisable to get out from the vicious circle, not to fuel them, although letting out our emotions honestly, firmly, gently, and kindly, without judgment. And we can always do that. And I'll tell you something else. People, when they are spoken to honestly, of course, again, without being judged, but honestly and clearly, they will appreciate you and love you more. Because everybody loves one thing. You know that what is the biggest turn on for everybody? Authenticity. But watch this space. I'm not talking from an egotistic point of view. I'm not talking about dressing in a different way or wanting to look different. No, wanted to just be who you are, expressing yourself. Being authentic means being being out of integrity. Yes, I feel at peace now. Yes, I feel joyful. I don't feel so well now. I feel angry because you know what you did? I interpreted it this way and I'm feeling this way and I didn't like it. So you know what your part was, and then we can build our relationship again. And then we can start again from where we left off. It's almost always cleaning the slate, cleaning the plate, and we can cook something else. But if things are not out in the open, if they're not addressed, if the emotions are not recognized, it becomes difficult then to get out from everything that we have suppressed. Hello, Juliana. Great to see you here. Ciao, Cinzia. Mariella says, I want to say bye-bye. Hello, Mariella. Goodbye. May says, yes, emotions are a trigger and something that's within us brought to the surface. Yes, good to deal with emotions. Yes, thank you, May, for making me think of something else. And this is, most probably, when people get upset, or where we get upset, because not all others also get upset, but we get upset, normally they are, or the situations are, nothing else than a trigger. They trigger something that was already latent in us, something that we hadn't dealt with. Do you know anybody that at the slightest stimulus, anything that they don't like, they just blow it off? They're like time bomb. I know quite a few people like that. Well, that's why, because they have so many unresolved issues. They have, and here it is, they probably didn't do it consciously, right? They didn't do it because they are not good enough, or they didn't want to do it. But because of life circumstances, they haven't dealt with those emotions. So they kept them in, but these emotions are there churning and percolating in them, and whenever a stimulus arises, they take the opportunity, unconsciously, of course, to let a little bit of steam out. So, Marina says, what happens if you, and then, what happens if you, I'm looking forward to read the rest of it. Hello, Evelyn, great to see you, great to see you. Hello, Graziella. Authenticity, yes. Samra say, being one's true self. Yes, absolutely. This is about being honest. This is about being honest and being open, because there is nothing that keeps us slave to each other like secrets. I repeat, if there's one thing that keeps people enslaved, is secret. We are all in a funny, twisted way intrigued and attracted by mysteries, but when it comes to true, authentic, healthy relationship, I really don't know how secrets are useful. And definitely when there is emotions which it was triggered, but one of these parts, consciously or unconsciously, it is not acknowledged and dealt with out in the air, it's not healthy to keep this secret, because energetically we can't see these things, but we can feel them. I can feel you in a way, I don't know how to explain, and I know you can feel me, and you can feel everybody that you put your attention to, more so people that you have relationship with. If there is something unresolved between you and somebody else, you know, it is as if I can't show you, but imagine that there's this invisible but dark mist that is interposed between you and them, right? And this does not allow you both to see each other clearly. And what it does, it distance you. That's why it's important. But because the truth may hurt. I know, I'm not saying, this is not easy. Whatever we're talking about on this platform, on Bridges of Light, well, definitely what I say, but I can see everybody else is singing the same song. Here we're not talking about manifesting a wonderful life and a peaceful and serene life like this. No. It requires work. It requires to look what emotions we have inside, we haven't dealt with, and to see, to bring them out, to acknowledge them first, let them out. And if somebody's involved, I invite you to do this. If you have something not unresolved with somebody, be brave. Be brave. Yes, if you don't want to call them out, imagine them, forgive them. But I would say, hey, we are here in this 4-dimensional reality to communicate with each other. So don't even write a text. Pick up the phone or go and knock on the door and say, hey, do you know what? I love you. And I know I've been pissed off with you, but I've had enough of this. I want to get this load off my shoulders. You know when you behave like that. I interpret it like this, and I felt sad, angry. And I just wanted to let you know this. And I can assure you, when people do that, the other person, because you've spoken so openly, so honestly, and they can feel that the energy is out, it's not in that, you're not holding grudges anymore, they'll go, oh wow. And normally they just open their heart, and the rest, beep, 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 fill the dots. I don't know. I can't tell you, but you have to try. Marina says, what happens if you express your emotions and explain why you were hurt, and the person becomes defensive, and even after explaining, they explain their side, we are temporarily okay, but then few days later, person is asked to do something, becomes defensive and upset when a simple thing is asked. Basically, is a trigger on both sides? Okay, let me paraphrase it to see you understand. Okay, you said, what about when you explain to a person why you were hurt? Yes, and even after you explain that, everything is okay for a while, but then few days later, okay, you ask again something to the person, and the person again, they get defensive and upset when something simple is asked. Yes, it can happen. Basically, is there a trigger on both sides? It can be, Marina. Yes, you're right. It cannot very well be, because there is something bigger on either side, or maybe actually on both sides. And you're both resonating and igniting each other about something much bigger that it hasn't been looked at. And that's why maybe just even something like asking something, it blows it off proportion for both sides. In fact, and you can test that, if you behave in exactly the same way like you would behave with that person, in other words, you go and ask something similar to somebody else, and you may find that they react in a different way, or even if they don't do what you want, like the other did, you both still feel different, and you don't react and feel what you were feeling with the other person. In that case, yes, I would say that you're both triggering something bigger. Yes, and what do you do in that case? I would say, of course, you either self-inquire yourself. It can be done. You literally just ask yourself a honest question to yourself and to life itself, to God, to angels, to whoever you want to refer to that is not in physical form but can help you, and you want to get to the bottom of it. Or you can get help by a counselor, by a psychologist, by a coach, or anybody that is trained professionally to help you out to inquire on such issues. But yes, it can, of course, it can be done. Mariella say, not you, Luca, of course. I pick up the phone and say bye-bye. Ah, thank you, Mariella. Yeah, you're not saying bye-bye to me. Oh, sorry. Yes, you're saying to somebody else. You pick up the phone and say bye-bye. I understand. Thank you. All right. Hello, Mattia. Great to see you here. Hello, my friend Evelyn. Yes. And you are on afterwards, Evelyn. I'm going to watch you and I'm going to ask you things as well. I'm looking forward to it. Mariella say, I realize I have lost 10 kilos. I'm curious about how did you lose the 10 kilos. Hello, Annalisa. Great to see you here too. Ciao. Hello. Yes, I love you too. Marina say, I agree. Emotions not dealt with are always triggered. Yes. There's no escape of it. This happens within my birth family. You brought me where I would have gone, but thank you for igniting it. This happens within my birth family. The rest of my life, I feel I can deal with any upset. Immediate family is very distant and now feels too late. Yes. Do you know, there is nothing more powerful than family. The more I study, I'll never stop studying, but the more I study and I work with people, and the more I see that unless and until we repristinate our primary relationship, which is the relationships we have with our father, with our mother, with our siblings, unless we are resolved and we are at peace with the relationship we have with them, all others' relationship, they may be okay, but the quality will never be as good as when we are at peace and we acknowledge the relationship we have with our immediate family. So it's very important. There are, in family constellations term, what they're called the orders of love, which they are fundamental. I give an example. In every family, it's a little bit dysfunctional. I mean, there's no an ideal, perfect family, probably nowhere on planet Earth. But there are some orders of love, meaning some things they have to be respected, meaning a child, until a child, which I'm talking, we're using the term child, but it could be a 40, 50, 60 years old person, and maybe that his or her parents have died, but until he or she acknowledges that his parents or her parents, they were the perfect one for him or her, and is grateful for the life they gave him, and he is the son or the daughter, and he is not bigger than them, because maybe he didn't do it intentionally, but because of family situations, he took a position in the family which is bigger in time than would have been that it was organically, systemically functional, and in that way, until we realize and we repristinate these orders, relationship within the family and also other relationships will always be challenging to us. So yes, the relationship with other family, but the good news is that even if the parents are not alive anymore, this kind of work can be done, because when we talk about relationship and love and emotions, we can enter a space which a dimension which transcends time and space. And we are working then, if we work, for example, systemically with families, we use what is known the knowing field, which in metaphysical terms we could be say universal intelligence, God, life, whatever you want to call it. But we can, in any given moment in time, acknowledge and get rid of emotions that they make us suffer for years. But when we acknowledge them and let them out, and we repristinate and own the relationship that we have with the person towards which we felt the negative emotions, everything transmutes itself. Really, it is amazing what we can do. But we have to be willing to put the work in and do it. Samra says, yes, a dark mist, a heavy load, a burden on the heart. Yes, that's what's between us and others whenever something it's not out in the air and it hasn't been dealt with. Things, they don't just go away. We cannot put anything under the carpet emotionally. We can try, but it's impossible. Marina says, 20 or more years is too much to get through with family members. You'll be surprised, Marina. You can do it. You can go back even generationally. I'm not kidding. Systemically, you could resolve something that make you suffer now, that as you suffer from years, and you realize that it's something ancestral, maybe something that you have unconsciously acquired, your soul, from somebody that you haven't even met, and you are behaving maybe out with a family member because of something that has happened generations before. This is not the time and the place to get into this kind of dynamics. But what I mean, Marina, if you want to resolve something, it doesn't matter how long it's been going on for. Trust me. But also, it's always worth trying. But I can assure you that yes, you can repristinate relationships that haven't been working for years. And that doesn't mean you become best buddy, but it means that the emotional load that you had and they had, what we were saying before, the energetic mists, goes, and you are clear. You acknowledge what is. You acknowledge that there is love there. Maybe you're totally different, yes. Maybe your opinions are different, your ways of life are different, but the emotions is not there. And what there is, it's love. You see, to love somebody doesn't mean that you want to do what they want to do and always with them. But it may mean, in some cases, and definitely with family members, that even though you're not with them physically, or maybe you just see them once in whenever it is, when you think of them or you see them, you are at peace. You're at peace, and maybe you feel love. And I am living that, really. When you can think or see and look in somebody's eyes, maybe let's say, for example, when I can look at, I give an example, at my father in the eyes, when once upon a time we have argued so much and we thought we could never feel the love for each other. And now I can look at him or think of him and feel love, regardless everything. That's amazing. It is, but it is possible. Mariella says, you're a big one, perfectly right. Oh, thank you. Maria, so true. Like, thank you, Marina. You understood. Evelyn say, I'm bringing you with me, so brush your hair. Brush your hair. Give me some hair, and then I'll brush them. Samra says, authenticity helps with the oldest, hardest issues. I've seen it time and again. This is worth reading again. Authenticity helps with the oldest, hardest issues. Yes. I've seen it time and again. Yes, I totally agree. Authenticity, it's who we truly are. Who we truly are. So there's nothing more, I repeat, that turns people on like authenticity. Because people are turned on by live energy, by passion. And but you could be even, I'm not talking that somebody must be like, fiery or jumping up and down. No, maybe they can be even calm. But inside you can feel they vibrate. That's like, wow, because there's not this hard shell. They haven't let anything in. And they don't want to let everything in. These people, authentic people, they would tell you, hey, do you know what? I don't like this. Can you see there's no judgment? But I say, I don't like this. I don't like this. Let's go somewhere else. Let's do something else. I don't like what you're telling me. Change your story. Or, I love what you're telling me. Tell me more. But we can get to the state of presence and responsiveness if we are not burdened by emotional baggage. But because time flies, there is something that I really want to touch upon, because I think it's very, very important for everybody to be aware of. And it's the importance of being congruent with what we feel, but here they are not talking about I'm angry, I tell you I'm angry, I'm not angry, but with what we feel for somebody and what we tell them. Because from studies done, it is now known that schizophrenia, which is a psychological illness, it is actually the most serious one. When we talk about schizophrenia, we are talking about people that they have psychotic happenings, dynamic and psychotic. Sometimes they actually hallucinate, they see things that are not there, or they are almost always anyway paranoid. They're very, very wary of people, they don't trust people, and they live very, very harsh, difficult life. Now, there is a biological component, yes, but it's not only that. This man is called Gregory Bateson. I love his work. To me, he's a genius. It is an absolute genius. I think it was a psychologist, was definitely a a biologist, an anthropologist. But what happened was that he came out with what is called the double-blind theory of schizophrenia. And I'll tell you how it works. And if you really listen to what I'm telling you, it makes sense, and you can see this everywhere, even nowadays in our society. But of course, in our society, culturally, we are exposed to these dynamics, but every now and then. But in families where a child has been brought up and educated, where what I'm telling you about is happening on a daily basis, day after day after day after day, their neurological connections, they almost get into short circuit. They don't know how things work. I'm putting it very lightheartedly here, but Great Britain, the lady, I can't remember what the name is, this goes, yeba noba. It says a lot about us. Yes or not? Yeba noba. That means there's a conflict in the mind. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. What am I talking about, the double blind and being congruent with what we feel and what we say? If you want to raise a child and have it to go mental, I'm not kidding, mental or become schizophrenic, even if he's healthy, you do this on a daily basis to him. But it would have to be, normally there are people with only one parent doing this, because there's no somebody else that talks to them congruently, or if they're both talking to him like this, double whammy is really not gonna make it through. Imagine this. Imagine mom that says to the kid, "Oh, darling, you know what? You can dress yourself how you want it before we go out. Go and get something. Put yourself what you want." Okay, the little kid, maybe he's 3-4 years old, go and he's all excited, he can choose or she can choose what to wear. So he's gonna put one sock of one color and one socks to his feet to one color and the other socks to a different color. Or 2 different pair of shoes, one shoes of one of a kind and another shoes. Then he comes back and mom goes, "But what are you doing? Are you crazy? You cannot dress like this. Go and change." He tells him or her off for something she requested of him. First she tells him, "Be yourself." Now he's being himself, but then he knows that he cannot be himself. He has to do what she wants him to do. Okay, so there already it's a short circuit is started to form. It's like there's no way out. That's why it's called the double bind. Okay, this double bind is a lose-lose situation when there's no escape. Another example, again lightheartedly I put it, but it's serious, is when I'm saying the girlfriend, but it could be the boyfriend. Let's say the girlfriend, I don't know why I said, okay, let's say the girl or one of the partner of the couple says to the other one, "Oh, darling, they go out and say, "Oh, you know what? I love you because you can be yourself in every circumstances." So he or she sees another good-looking boy or girl, and he or she goes, wow, and the other partner sees that he or she is looking at somebody else with some, is appreciating them. Why not? And they tell him or off like, "What are you doing? You shouldn't behave like this." And they go on and on. So again, the message is, you want me to be myself, but when I am myself, you punish me. So I don't know how to behave with you. Do you get a message? And society is full of these double binds. Or again, mom that goes to the kids, says to the kids, "Oh, darling, be yourself," is somewhere. And the kids, again, he knows that when he's with other people, if he does what he wants to do, he's going to be punished. If he doesn't do it, and if he's restrained, mom, 2 minutes later, he goes, "Oh, come on, I told you, just be yourself, enjoy yourself." And again, it doesn't know how to behave. It's frozen because he knows that he likes to jump on the sofa, but if he jumps on the sofa, he's going to be told off. But if he doesn't do anything because he's frustrated, because he knows he doesn't go on the sofa, she's going to tell him off because he's not being himself. I hope I gave you the message. But if you think about it, society is full of this, they're called double binds. It's a lose-lose situation where we are restrained. And that is why we suffer many times. That is why people, they don't allow to be themselves, they're not allowed to be themselves. That's why for people it's difficult to express how they feel emotionally. Because if they were raised in families or societies or culture where everything was so structured and being yourself meant you were a rebel and you should have not do it, you don't do it. But at the same time, you are going to have a very hard life when it comes to relationship, because you're not attracting people, because you're not yourself, and people don't like people that are not themselves. And so you go through life thinking, but I do everything by the book. I have 3 university degrees, I have a fantastic job, I never swear, but you're never yourself. But you don't allow yourself to feel to say what you feel and to express your feelings. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. Easier said than done. That's why baby steps, but let's start taking the first baby steps, and let's start recognizing the absurdity and the contradictions that we live in this society. But we all know this. For example, there's one thing that I love doing. You can't see it now, but when now it's so hot here. But I love not to be a rebel, but I love wearing 2 different kind of socks. And if I have the same shoes, sometimes I even wear the same shoes. Of course, I wouldn't wear 2 different pair of shoes, but different colors. You know, am I harming anybody? No. Do people actually get upset because of it, some people? Yes, I can assure you. I can assure you. Would they tell me in my face? Maybe yes, but many people won't. Do you see what I mean? If you feel something, why don't you say? Because you're fearful. If you want to do something, why don't you do it? Because you're fearful. And what are we fearful of? The thing that we are all more afraid of. People say the biggest fear of people is public speaking. I don't believe it. We are born with 2 fears. Babies are born with the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. But there's another big fear, which I believe is the biggest fear of all. And because people are fearful of this, they commit suicide. The fear of being judged negatively. The amount of adolescents, it's on the rise in the Western world where we got everything, and their number 1 cause is shame. So because we are ashamed of what could happen, we don't do what we would like to do, we don't express ourselves, we don't even allow ourselves to recognize our emotions, and we keep them in. But anyway, let me write, because I've been talking too much of myself. I can't see. Hi Luca, super interesting. Thank you, Nevin. I hope it is, because you see, I get on a roll, then I stop talking. That's why I want to read now, because I want to see what you want to share with me. I don't just want to tell you what I want to say. I have some troubles with internet connection. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Mariela. Marina says, that's amazing, Luca. I have to do this for all our sakes. Yeah, but of course, Marina, that's why I'm really passionate about whatever we talk about here on this group. Because to be well and peaceful and happy and to live life to the fullest is our birthright, yes, it's our right, but it's also a responsibility. We are all one. I am one cell in this huge body. You're a part of me. I'm talking to myself. You're listening and looking at a part of yourself. If I am suffering, if I am not well, if I am keeping my anger inside, my disappointment, for the sake of being judged, I don't let it out, you suffer because I suffer. So this is why I want you, everybody that knows me, I always tell people, if I do something you don't like, please, you do me a favor. If I piss you off, and maybe more so if I piss you off and I don't know that I've done it, tell me, please, tell me, Luca, I don't like that. And I know where I stand. You love me, you free me. Love is freedom. If I don't know what I do that you like or you don't like, you are binding me and I am binding you. That's the bind, the big bind, the big negative glue. If I don't tell you what I like about you or what about like that you do or you don't know how to behave. Anyway, Cecilia says, No, Cecilia is watching. Hello, Cecilia. Sonia say, I think the key point is non-judgment. Yes, Sonia. Thank you. Absolutely. Yes, Sonia. I truly, truly believe and feel and know that if there isn't any judgment involved, anything, and I repeat, anything and everything can be expressed. Our soul, our essence is here to express itself. No more, no less. But we don't allow ourselves to express ourselves because we judge ourselves. And others don't allow themselves to be themselves because they're afraid, yes, of being judged. I like to refer judgment as totally useless first, but also it's a psychic attack. Every judgment is a psychic attack. Judgment is the seed of all suffering, I think. Anyway, now it's okay. Oh, I'm glad, Mariella, your picture is good. Sonia says, I see those double minds all around and I'm feeling sorry for them. Yes, society is fueled with double minds. And I joke about it, but in Italy we do the same. See, no, no, see, no, see, no. And in English we say the same. Yes, no, yeah, but no, but no, but yeah, but. Why? Because we are mentally, we don't know. We are not doing things full-heartedly. But I tell you something. Our soul, our essence. That's why people are scared of people that they are really, really into themselves. Because they're powerful, but there's nothing to be afraid, and they're afraid of themselves. But this, our essence, wants to live life full-heartedly, meaning I like this, I love this. Wow, I'm here 100%. I want to do it. The soul doesn't say yes, no, but what? Are you harming anybody? No. So go and swim. Go and get the job. Go and leave the place you're living if you don't like. Do what you love. Do what you like. And the power you get when you do that, the backup energetically that you get, it's incredible. But if we go, and of course we do this because we've been conditioned, because we are afraid, because we've been double binded by society and parents. Yeah, but no, but can I be myself? But then I'm doing wrong, but then they judge me, but then bananas to that, bananas. Are you harming anybody? If so, think about it. But if the only thing that you are, but this, we go into a delicate realm. But if you are only damaging, let's say, somebody else's expectations, watch this space. You are psychically caged, and you're locked in judgment. If it's just the expectations of somebody you're living by, and not to adhere with their expectation, which only means that they downgrade you mentally from when you were, I'm here to say, wake up and smell the coffee. You don't need anybody's approval. You need your essence to live, and your authenticity to live how you want. And if they truly love you, they will only understand when you are really truly being yourself. And if you're not able to love you, well, why not loving yourself just because somebody would like you to be different? But the thing is that if you are not honoring yourself because somebody would like you to be different, if they have the mentality, I can assure you, they will never love you. And I'll tell you something else. They may even resent you when you're truly happy. Because when you're truly brilliantly being yourself, if somebody would like you to be something before they love you, they won't be able to stand you. Because your brilliantness would get on their nerves so much. But the only thing you have to be conscious of is who you truly are, and that you are only have to looking for the right word. You only have to be responsible for what you do that is for the highest good of everyone else. And this means honoring your emotions, of course, not harming anybody, but being true and honest to yourself. And of course, here we would have to go into specific cases, but what I mean is, don't limit yourself if you're not harming anybody. If you're only not adhering to others' expectations, hey, anyway, I shut up because we would have to work on something in particular. double binds. Sonia say no. The double bind. To bind is to bind somebody. To have somebody almost like to tie somebody. To keep somebody slave. But you keep somebody slave twice. If when you give them two choices and both choices they're gonna be punished for. Like if I tell you, you can be yourself. So be yourself. But if to be yourself, it means that you are going to do something that I'm then going to tell you, no, you shouldn't be behaving like this. You have to do this because I like you. So if you do what you want to do, which is maybe looking at somebody else because you like them, why not? Or jumping on the sofa. If you do that, I get upset because I don't like you doing that. But if you would like to do that, and if you do anything else, but I can see that you're not yourself because I can feel it and you're not happy, then I'm not happy and I would punish you as well, because I would say, you see, you're not having a good time, you're not being yourself, and so there's no way out. I hope I was clear enough. Binds, Marina, yes, double binds. And I'm sorry for my English, I know it's funny because I find myself sometimes, even in Italian, I don't speak even proper Italian anymore. But really, I'm all for the content, okay? Not much from the form. In other words, it's the substance to me that counts. Sonia say thanks. I was clear enough. Okay, Samra saying being oneself becomes easier once we are used to doing soul work. Absolutely, I totally agree, Samra. Yes, because the energy we get when we do soul work, it's so powerful. They say that, I'm just telling you a number to say, but it gives you the idea. And I couldn't even tell you, by the way, where I read it, but I read it somewhere, I'm sure of that. That one person which is connected to his source, like one person that is, let's say, awake or aware of who he or she truly is, that he knows is a spiritual being having a human experience, is 12 times energetically more powerful than a person that only identify himself or herself with the humanness, with the physical part, and doesn't recognize who he or she truly is. So yes, we become powerful when we recognize our soul. Mariella says, 3 minutes, I have to look at that. Schizophrenia is not a mental genetics strongest syndrome only. I mean, it depends also how is the climate in the family. Absolutely. A boy or a girl grows up, yes. The atmosphere in the family is paramount for this, yes. Over and over, day by day, when a child can't express freely these emotions, he always says yes, 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 like an automa. Is mental health that? Yes, you're right, Mariella, exactly. I said schizophrenia to give the idea, but yes, all other mental issues, it could be depression, it could be anxiety or whatever else, yeah, they all spring from the environment where we're growing up. May says, yes, fear of rejection. Yes, fear of rejection is probably one of the biggest fear, because we have got no time to get into it, but you know, we all have one fundamental need humanly, and it's very strong, is the need to belong. We need to belong. First, we need to belong to our family, and then when we grow up, still to our family, but to our group. And we know consciously and unconsciously that we would do anything not to be rejected, because to be rejected is almost an ancestral, a biological memory we have in our brain, our reptilian brain, that once upon a time when we were living in caves, if we were rejected from the tribe, if we had to go outside from the cave, there were lions and tigers, and we couldn't feed ourselves, and we maybe would be attacked by wild animals. So now we almost have this unconscious fear, which of course has got no basis now, because if a group doesn't want me, and so what? I get out the group and close the door and I go somewhere, and I am not physically in danger. But I still have the emotional response that it's so dangerous to be rejected, right? Now, 1 minute. I will read the comments and I will answer if there's questions. But I'm gonna close soon, also because Evelyn, she's probably ready and roaring to go. Mariella, it makes suicide, it's a big drama. Yes. Yeah, suicidal is probably one of the biggest drama, because when we say no to the biggest gift, which is life. Double blinds, double standards. I agree, Samra. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Thank you, everybody. I love you very, very much. Thank you for listening, for watching. And I'm going to see you. I'm not going to see you on Saturday because I'll be flying from Italy to London. I'm going to see you next Wednesday. I believe, same time, 6 to 7 UK time. Ciao. I'll see you later. Have a great evening. And enjoy Evelyn.